exposed metal with our bare hands. It's as simple as just screwing the brush attachment onto the end of the wand, and then we'd be ready to clean the inside of the car. In this case, we're using a softer horsehair bristle brush to clean cloth seats. We have more coarse brushes which will clean carpeting, and we can use these brushes in combination on different parts of the interior. So as you can see here, we have a fairly dirty seat. Now again, we're going to limit our use of cleaner, but we're not going to clean it without any cleaner. So we're just going to take a mist of cleaner and just mist a little bit of cleaner on our seat. Now before we get going, we want to exhaust any residual wetness that's in the steamer. So we're just going to squeeze the trigger. And we'll just get rid of some residual steam, and now we'll just go ahead and clean the seat. Once the steam dissipates, we'll wipe it up with a towel and just check our work. For the most part, in that first pass, we have a fairly clean seat. If we need to go over it again, we can go over it again because the seat is not wet at all. We just create a slight amount of dampness on there. If we need to go over it again, especially for a dirty child seat, this is fantastic for the first pass. If we need to go over it again, we can come back to it so we don't create too much wetness on the seat fabric and on the seat cushioning. Most vehicles will have dirty cup holders, a dirty dash, areas along the console. Traditionally, we've had to spray chemicals in here. We've gotten this way too wet. We've had to get in there with a toothbrush or a Q-tip and try and clean all this up, and it takes a long time to do. With the MB2300, we've just put a smaller horsehair brush on the end of the gun, and we're simply going to go in here and just steam all this out and then quickly wipe it up. Again, we're not going to be too concerned about steam over any of the radio control knobs or the climate control system. Sometimes we don't even need to scrub this area. The steam and the pressure will just clean it. We'll come back and wipe it with the microfiber towel. In here we do want to scrub it a little bit. In here we do want to scrub it, and there's a cup holder back here that we want to scrub. Some cases, most cases, we probably won't need any cleaner, so we'll just steam it without using any cleaner. And we'll just, again, get rid of our residual water vapor. The steam also acts as its own compressed air, where we blow out all the dust out of the cracks and crevices. And now we come back with our microfiber towel, and we just lightly wipe everything up, and we haven't created too much water vapor. And now we can get into our cup holders and just swoop out the cup holders, and we haven't made them soaking wet. And as we come down into the console area, we just lightly wipe the hard plastic up. And we can do a complete console and the dashboard area in no time at all and get it very, very clean. We've just cleaned the console and the cup holder area. Now it's time to change the brush because we're going to be doing the carpeted areas. We need a harder nylon bristle brush for that. As you can see, we have a lot of residual steam coming out, and that's just because everything is so hot. Again, for safety, we never want to come palm first at a brush attachment. That could possibly burn us. So what we're going to do is just lightly unscrew from the side of the brush attachment that we were using to clean the console and the cup holder, and we're going to come back with a nylon bristle brush, slightly larger size, and screw that onto the end of the wand. And now what we're going to do is we're going to clean the carpeting. The carpeting on most cars, especially the driver's side area, is going to be a little bit dirty. This is the case where if you need the NB2300 to be a little more wetter steam, and that's the advantage of this, is we can just dial it in so we have a little more steam volume and a little more wetness for an extremely dirty carpet. If the carpets aren't dirty, you can adjust it to a more dry mode. So we do have some dirt on the outer side. We have a little bit of salt in there from winter time. We've already sprayed a cleaner on there very, very lightly and let it soak in for a minute or two. And now we'll just clean this carpeted area with the harder bristle brush. We also want to use the NB2300 to clean door panels and harder surfaces. To do that, we're going to use the soft horsehair brush as well. Same machine, same tip. We've just put a horsehair brush on it. We've already done the fabric seat. If we need to do a leather seat, we'll do the same thing. We can take this to leather, vinyl, any type of harder material, and scrub directly on it. That's the advantage of a softer horsehair brush, where we do not have to wrap a towel around it to do our cleaning. So this door panel, it's dirty. We have some scuff marks on the bottom. The car's been through a tough winter. People have been putting their arm on the armrest. So door panels are always going to be a little bit dirty. So again, we could clean this with just steam if it wasn't bad. But what I'll do here is just mist a little bit of cleaner onto our door panel. Just a little bit of a mist. That's about all we need. And I'm just going to run the steamer. I'm going to run the brush over the bottom. I'm going to run it over the speaker grill. That's not an issue. I'm going to run it over the window switches. That's not an issue. And then when I'm done, I'm going to run it over the window switches. That's not an issue. And then when I'm done, I'll just lightly steam the glass, and we can come back with a separate window towel and clean the glass. Again, we're going to exhaust some of our residual water vapor from inside the gun. And we'll just wipe it down. We didn't create too much wetness on the door panel itself. And you can see how fast we have a door panel complete. Another problem in minivans is the tracks for the door. There's a lot of dirt that accumulates in this track and then goes over to the hinges, which again, in conventional cleaning, this is very difficult to clean. We'd have to spray a lot of cleaner in there, and we'd have to use a toothbrush and get in there and then try and rinse it out, or take a towel and rinse it. With the NB2300, again, we're going to go in the dry steam mode. We're going to use a little bit different brush now. We're going to use a smaller 1-inch nylon bristle brush. We've already sprayed a little bit of cleaner in there, and simply with the steam, pressure, and the heat itself, we're going to get in there, blow all this stuff out really fast, and then just come back with a towel and dry it up. And just as fast as that, we're pretty much done. We didn't create a lot of wetness. We come back with our towel, we wipe it up, and we have a nice clean look. And we're done. Now we have a problem area in here where something was spilled inside the C-track. Doing this the old-fashioned way would take us a long time to get a cleaner in there, get a toothbrush in there. We're just going to steam it and blow it all out. For the most part, we can clean that real quick. We have a lot of debris and dirt in this C-track. We'll do the same thing over here. And without creating too much residual wetness, we can get in there and blow that out really. And without creating too much residual wetness, we can get in there and blow that out really well before we put the seats back in. As we come back here, our carpeted area stain that was in here we took care of, and again we can just steam this real quick and brush it just to make sure we have all the stuff out of these edges. And we come back with a towel and just wipe it up before we give it a final vacuum and put our seats back in. And even on a dirty minivan, we can get these problem areas very clean very quickly with the NB2300 by just switching over a couple of brushes. We've cleaned half of our floor mat. There was a bunch of stains here, and we still have a little bit of a dirty section here and a grease spot here. So just to show you that we've been able to clean this carpet and it's not soaking wet. There's just minimal moisture in the carpet, which will dry fairly quickly, and the carpets would be the last thing that goes back in the car. But still a little bit of cleaner on our carpet. We're going to go after this section, get rid of the grease spot. In this case, we need just a little bit more bug and tar remover or solvent to dissolve the grease. And that gets rid of the grease.